Hello, we are on lesson 43 today, and one of you told me yesterday that you were missing some lessons. So I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention and didn't copy off a few of them, but I brought home the same pack that I copied for you. So I don't know how I ended up with them and you didn't, but if that is you, email me. If you haven't already, I know at least one of you did. Email me and tell me that you're missing some. I am headed to the school Saturday, tomorrow, and I will leave new packets of work for you to pick up. And so if there's anything you need from the classroom, let me know too. If you need pencils, erasers, folders, paper, I'll try to stick some graph paper in there because I know that's handy. Just email me and tell me what you need, and I'll pick it up and I'll leave it at the school for you whenever you get by. And we will get started. Draw a 12-centimeter line segment. So we're going to the centimeter side of our ruler. And we're going to go all the way out to 12 centimeters and connect the dots. Draw a congruent line segment, and then we're going to measure it in inches and compare. So congruent would be 12 centimeters again. And now let's flip it over and let's measure that thing in inches. So first measuring mark on the dot. And it's not exactly on an inch mark, but each inch is divided up into a half. There's a ½ inch right there. This is not helping that there's a reflection on my ruler there. There's a ½ inch right here. And then in between the whole inch and the ½ inch is a 1/4 inch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts in that inch. And then it gets even smaller with those small lines. So what I want to show you is this. This is 4 inches here. This is 4 1/2. And this is 4 3/4. And we've started working with those fractions now. So they're starting to show you that you do this on a ruler also. 4 1/4, 4 1/2, or 2/4, and 4 3/4. 4, I didn't leave myself any room, and 3/4. Number 1, Miss McKinn's class will have a science test 2 weeks from today. So today is December 11th, 2020. 2 weeks from today, on what date will the class take the science test? So if you're not doing this on this day, you can still use this date if you want. That's fine. If you want to use the date you're working on it, that's fine too. So how many days are in 2 weeks? That's what we really need to know. We can't just add on 2 to this date. We have to figure out how many days there are. So in 1 week, there's 7 days. In 2 weeks, there's 7 plus 7, and that's 14, right? 14 days. Now take a look at our date. 12 is the month, because it's the 12th month, it's December. 11 is the day of December. And then 2020 is the year, right? Well, we want to calculate by adding days. So we don't add it to the 12 because we're not adding months. We add it to the 11 because we're adding days, okay? So we're going to leave 12 the same unless we end up going over 31. If this goes over 31, then we have to change this and this because it's the end of the year. It won't, but I'm just letting you know that if you end up doing this assignment later than this date, you might still want to use this date. It gets complicated after this. Okay, so 14 days. We're going to add on 11 plus 14. 11 plus 14 1 plus 4 is 5. I really wish I just used my scratch paper. I don't know what I'm thinking. 1 plus 1 is 2. Ah! You know what the date is? 12-25-2020. What day is that? December 25th. What is it? Christmas, right? So exactly 14 days from today is Christmas. This date right here is what I would have put on the line if I'd been wise and used scratch paper. So you can put your date on the line and use scratch paper and learn from my mistake. What day of the week was it 3 days ago? So, since you might be doing this on a different day, that's fine. You can figure out for your day, or you can figure out the day I'm on right now, and that is Friday, right? Now, 3 days ago means 3 days back. I don't know if you can say your days of the week backward. If you can, good for you. If you're like me and by the time you get to Friday, your brain is fried, then you can turn to page 4 and you can count 3 days back, or you can look at a calendar. So we're on Friday, 3 jumps back would be 1, 2, 3, would have been Tuesday, right? So what day of the week was it 3 days ago? Tuesday. Now, an important thing to know, and a lot of adults don't always keep this straight either. So when we're talking about date, we're talking about the number of the calendar. Like your birth date is the number that you give when somebody asks you what your birthday is, okay? A date is a number. A day of the week is a word. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay? So sometimes we say day or date, but know that a date is a number, a day is a word, okay? And if you want to use the date and day that I'm using today when you do your calculating, that's just fine with me. And if you happen to use a different one, that's just fine with me too. I'll figure it out, okay? Number 3, trace the horizontal line segments using a blue crayon. Oh, I wonder if my kids, yeah, my kids left their crayons out. So we need blue, green, and red. Okay, I think I got them. Blue, green, and red. Now, the 3 lines we have to talk about again. Horizontal, vertical, oblique. Can you remember which one's which? The one I always teach you first is horizontal. Because remember in art class, when we're drawing a landscape, we draw a horizon line. And that is where the sky meets the ground. And the sun comes up over the horizon, right? So a straight across line is the horizon line or horizontal. Do you see the word horizon in there? Okay. Now what's the opposite line? The one that goes straight up and down, not slanting at all, is a vertical line. Vert means straight up and down like that. Okay, vertical. And then the oblique, the weird word, is the one that's kind of a weird line, and it can be slanted any particular direction, but it's never straight across and it's never straight up and down. It's all the other kinds of lines. Okay, so horizontal, straight across. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I got that in there. Horizontal, straight across. Vertical, straight up and down. And a slanty line like this, or like this, or like this. Those are all oblique, okay? So let's find the horizontal lines first, the straight across ones. See if you can find any lines in these letters that are straight side to side. I see one big one here on the H. I see 2 on the F. I don't think I see any on the M, and I see 1 on the A. Do you see them? Okay, now we're going to do vertical. So we're going to do the straight up and down lines with the green crayon. And this was a blue. Straight up and down lines. See if you can find them. I don't see any straight up and down there because those are slanty. I do on the M, and I do on the F, and I do on the H. Those are the vertical lines. Okay. Oblique lines. Oblique are the slanty ones. They can slant any direction. So these are slanty lines. Oh, I think that's pink instead of red. Oh well. And these are slanty lines. Right? There we go. If it's 9 p.m., is it morning or afternoon? So 9 doesn't tell us if it's morning or afternoon because 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. both happen during the day. But p.m. tells us if it's morning or afternoon. Do you remember which one it is with p.m.? You wake up in the a.m., you go to sleep in the p.m. So the one that happens after lunch is p.m. And the one that happens before lunch is a.m. What time will it be 2 hours later? So we're going to take 9 o'clock and we're going to jump ahead 2 hours, and we're not going to pass midnight, so we can leave it at p.m. So 9, 10, 11. Add on 2 hours and we get to 11 o'clock, and we didn't pass midnight, so it is still p.m. Normal body temperature and freezing point. You remember we talked about this, right? So quiz yourself real quick while I look for thermometer on page 11. Normal body temp. What temp is a nurse looking for when she checks our temperature at the school? 98.6. 98.6. That is right here. And that's pretty hot. Our bodies stay pretty warm when they're working. 98.6. If we were in a room that was this hot, we would be extremely warm. In the summertime, when we get a really hot day, it is about 100 degrees in Minnesota. It usually doesn't get a lot hotter than that too often in Minnesota. So your body stays really warm, doesn't it? 98.6, normal, body temperature. 98.6, make sure you get the degrees on there, and make sure you get the F for Fahrenheit on there. Next one is freezing point. Do you remember? Freezing point on the Fahrenheit scale is 30, what? 32. 32. And so that's why outside lately it hasn't got too much warmer than that, and that's why we're not seeing a lot of melting anymore, and the ground is getting really hard because it's staying at freezing or below for most of the time now. 32 degrees, water freezes. And make sure you put your degrees in Fahrenheit. What is the Fahrenheit temp to the nearest degree? So we're going to look at the thermometer on your sheet. If it's hard to see on mine, go ahead and look at yours. So it says to the nearest degree, not to the nearest 10 degrees or something like that. And remember we talked yesterday that this thermometer counts by twos, doesn't it? And this looks like it's above 40, 42, 44, 46. It's halfway between 46 and 48 from what I can tell. So halfway between 46 and 48 is 47 Fahrenheit. Divide each rectangle into eighths. So you can do it a bunch of different ways. You can just make 8 marks going up and down. You can do what I'm going to do and cut it into fourths. Cut it in half, and then cut each half in half again, and then you'll get fourths. Okay, so that's fourths, but now if we cut down the other way, we turn each of those fourths into 2, and we get 2, 4, 6 eighths. So that's probably the easiest way to make eighths, because you cut in half, cut those pieces in half, and then cut it in half the other way. And you're not having to do quite so much counting as if you just made a bunch of lines. Now on this one, we are supposed to shade 6 eighths. That looks like this, 6 eighths, or 6 out of 8. So let's see, let me get my crayon back out again. 6 eighths, so we'll color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and it looks like I'm leaving 2 unshaded. The next one is 3 eighths. That looks like 3 eighths, or 3 out of 8. So I've got to color 3 out of 8 this time. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of 8. Complete the number patterns. So take a look at what we have here. 25, and I'm going to ignore the hundreds for now because they're staying the same. 25, 50, 75. You will notice we have practiced this lately. Page 6. Page 6, you will recognize counting by 25s. 25, 50, 75, 100, right? 25, 50, 75, 100. They are doing the same thing here. 25, 50, 75. Sorry about my camera. So what's the next 100? It's not 100. We are counting 275, 225, 250, 275. The next 100 is 300. Now the pattern starts over. 25, 50, 75, 325, 350. 25, 50, 75, 100, 25, 50, okay? Now we have to make it go backwards. So if we can remember that pattern forward, or even if we're sure about this, we can use it back here. So 325, 325, I'm sorry, 225. The one before it was going to be an even 100. So over here, it's not going to be 300, it's going to be 200. Before that was a 75. So these are all the 200s, these are the 300s. We're going to go 200 and we're going to back up 25. So we're going to be in the 100s now. 175, and then back up again, 50s, 150. So the trickiest part when you're counting with such big numbers is figuring out which 100 you're in. That'll be the trickiest part, because I know you can get the 25, 50, 75, 100 pattern down. So if you want to check it, you can go back and see if you got the pattern down. 50, 75, 100, 25, 50, 75, 100, 25, 50. It looks like we have the pattern. 57, 67, 77. Well, the ones place isn't changing. We're not adding any ones. The tens place is changing, isn't it? 50, 60, 70. Do you see it changing? So 57, 67, 77. The next 10 is 87. The next 10 is 97. This is the tricky jump right here. If you do, oh crap, I bet I don't have it all the way up. If you do 97 and 10 more, you can just count them if you want. 97, count 10 more, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107. So take a look. The pattern does keep going. We have 5 in the tens place. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we have 10, right? And if we want to keep that going, we could put 11 with a 7 behind it. Now that's 107 plus 10 more, right? It's not actually 11, but you can see the pattern because math is only about patterns. So plus add on again to the tens place, and only to the tens. The 100 is going to stay the same and the ones is going to stay the same, and the tens place is going to become a 2. And then we're going to add on to the tens place again. The 100 is going to stay the same. The 7 ones place is going to stay the same, and we're going to add 1 on to the tens place again. It's going to become a 3. Okay, so we're just adding groups of 10. Everything else stays the same. This is the trickiest jump right here. So you can always count it out since we're only adding 10. Okay, there you're getting into some trickier stuff, but I know you can do it. And if you want help reading or going over a concept again, just hop on a Zoom when we are Zooming with you during the day, or email me and we'll help out. Have a good day.